The next thing we're going to look at is a fan brush. And a fan brush is a special brush that helps paint kind of a broken line, a whole series of points at the same time. Fan brushes come made with lots of different materials. This is one made for oils, and you'll see it's shaped like a fan. And it has an area where if I put paint here, each of these little points are going to end up painting kind of a broken line. It's a great thing to blend with. It's a great thing to crosshatch with if you have a really big surface. It's kind of hard with the small canvases we work on to do too much with this big one. There's softer ones for watercolor. This stiffer one is what you need for oils, otherwise it won't hold up. So when you do this, I'm going to ask that you do 3 techniques to do this. So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of paint. You will find it's going to react differently if it's thicker than it is if it's thinner. I like to tip different areas of the brush in different colors that are kind of related, because a lot of times you want that texturing effect. So you can see that if I push down this fan brush, I get marks. If the paint's very thick, it's going to break up pretty quick, but I can get this. I get this arc shape. If that's what you want, is this arc shape. You get this kind of arc mark that you don't get with other brushes. This is where I've picked up different colors of paint. I like them if you use them. You can use them to create textures. You can almost imagine that being a hay bale or a field of hay. That color kind of lends itself to thinking that way. Let's see. You can do grasses, especially if you thin it down. If you take and put a little more fluid in the paint, I really think it's important that you tip it into different colors so that you get strokes that have different varieties. But if you push it down and pull it up, you get these little marks that kind of look like grasses. And if you want to have the texture of grass in a field, you start at the bottom and pull them up, and then you build the next layer in front of it, tipping into different colors. If I do it all in one color, it's just going to look like, it's just going to be a solid block. I might as well have just painted it with a solid surface. But if I pull this in different ways, I can get the illusion of grasses. You can do textures of rocks on trees. You could pull water. You could pull water down a stream and down look like it falling over the rocks. If you kind of see how that kind of feels like water could be flowing down over a rock. You can do all kinds of things, but you can create textures. You can stipple with it. So if you want to just hold it straight up and tap it out. So I would like you to explore on this some without much fluid in it. So it's kind of a thick paint, a thinned paint, a texture, and some stippling. You should have texture, stippling, and maybe the illusion of some grasses in there. When you do the grasses, try to tip it into more than one color so that you can see the different textures. Okay? Just another thing you just kind of have to practice with and play with.